YouTube. I've had quite a few requests to pretty much do a build on the Marquis RDA. So today we're going to review not only the Marquis authentic RDA but the clone RDA and do a build on it. Surprisingly enough, even though the authentic Marquis is quite expensive, the clone I think they did a really good job on, and I'm going to switch over to that camera now and I will show you it's really good quality. So what you have here is one of these is the clone and one of them is the authentic, and whoops, well, they used to be. No, I'm just kidding. So these are my drip tips in here, but as you can tell, they're both made out of 304 stainless steel. They both look really good. I'm going to pop this one open here. Here's inside the build deck and everything on one of them. And here's the other one, which is all clean. So now if I put both of these together, you may notice a slight difference. One of these has deeper engraving than the other one. So without keeping y'all guessing any longer, the one with the deeper engraving is the clone. The one on the left is the authentic. And I can pretty much go through all the differences between these. It's fairly simple. Let's see, the first difference that you're going to see is these ground screws are bigger on the authentic than they are on the clone. And I mean, the simple fix for that would be to get some bigger screws to put in there. This top screw right here, the authentic, it has this nice screw here with kind of a washer built onto it. When you get a clone, the screw that comes in here is going to be a screw like the ground. So you don't want that screw, but in the little bag, which I will show you in a second, it has a screw just like the one that's in the authentic. So you definitely want to change that screw out and put this screw in there. It also comes with all the pieces that the authentic does. I'll show you what, this is the authentic case from Avid Vapor. And serial number 362 is the one I have. So here's some spare O-rings. These are your building rods, which I'll demonstrate shortly. Your different tops. This is the tallest top here. Then you have the medium-sized one. And then you have the flat one, which is the one that's installed on there. And then your certificate of authenticity, which is basically a business card. So let's throw all that back in the box. And I'm sorry about my dogs barking. Somebody just showed up. Figures. So now let's open the box that the clone comes in. I have another one, so this makes life easy for me. This is everything you get with a clone. This particular one came from Focal e-cig, and there's obviously other places that sell them now. I know for sure Angel Cigs has them. So inside this bag here, you have your little screws. And if you look close, you'll see that screw that has the washer built onto it. That's the one that you need to take and put on the inside of the Addy. So here's the Addy itself with the tall drip tip. You can put any 510 drip tip you want inside of any one of these three connections. Here's the building rods. They did a really good job on that. And here's the other two tops. So, I mean, as far as matching it up to the authentic, I think they did really good. I've vaped them both. They both do great. So it's strictly, you know, do you want the warm, fuzzy feeling of owning the authentic, or do you want to, you know, buy a clone that gives you the same type of vape for way cheaper? I mean, I've seen the clone of the Marquis for $9.33. You know, the authentic, $145. That's all up to you. You can either build horizontal or vertical coils on this. I prefer the vertical coils, so that's what we'll do today. But I'll show you how the building rods fit in here. Let me grab these building rods out of the box. There's all the building rods. So I think this goes from 2.5, 3 millimeter, 3.5, 4 millimeter is your 4 sizes, and they just slide in just like that. Whether you do it up or down doesn't matter, it just depends on which size rod you want to use for whatever size coil you're building. That's for vertical coil. If you want horizontal coil, you can slide it through this way to build this size, which will be 3 millimeter, or you can go through this way for the 2.5 and build your coil on this one. So there's a couple of big differences you need to realize when you're actually building your coils on this. If you're building vertical coils, which is up and down like this, then you need to make this coil clockwise when you do your wraps and the right side counterclockwise. If you're doing horizontal coils, you need to do the left side counterclockwise and the right side clockwise. And I'll show you why that's important. Let's just grab a couple of these rods and we'll build something real quick. I'm going to take some 26 gauge candle. Cut this off. Whoa. Get a couple pieces of Kenthal. Need a whole bunch. Alright, so if I'm going to do the left coil first, this is the clone by the way, so we'll do it. And the first thing I do on this is I'm going to remove the positive screw out of here because it makes life so much easier just to have this out of the way. Do not lose this screw because you're going to have a hard time finding a replacement. And they only put one in the bag, so don't lose that screw. So we take our building rod, and this is the one we're going to wrap clockwise. So and I'll show you why that's important on the Addy itself. I actually need to put my goggles on so I can see to wrap this. Hold on just a second. I'm getting older, so it's harder to see this stuff now. Let's try and get this on camera for y'all. I have a coil master and I love using that thing, but for this I like using the building rods. That's the second wrap, third wrap, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to do 8 wraps. Right. So there's the coil, nice and close together. You can actually push this up against here and get any of the gaps out that you have. So main thing is when you go to set this down inside the Marquis, it automatically tries to line up. As you can see, the ground is trying to go around this screw, which is right here. That's the ground. And then your positive, you're just going to hook around one of these little castle style designs up here, and it's going to hook around the bottom and tighten it down. I mean, once you get the hang of building this Addy, it becomes very, very easy. The top one, we're just going to go and hook this, hook this around one of these loops, just like that. And you're done with that side. You can leave your building rod in there, take your other building rod. This one is the one you want to wrap counterclockwise. Actually, let's go ahead and break this lead off. If you don't have this tightened good in here, it will pop back out from under this screw, especially on the clone, because the clone doesn't have as big as screws. The authentic, a lot easier, it has bigger head screws. So we need to do 8 wraps. So we're going to do this in counterclockwise. So I got to come back towards me. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I almost didn't have enough wire. Alright, so now when I lay this one down in here, since I built it counterclockwise, as you can see, it's trying to also hook around the ground. This keeps your wires out of the way, where it's a lot easier to wick, a lot easier to drip in. Just makes everything easier. So now I'm going to hook the positive around the top up here, and the ground is already trying to hook, so let's make that happen. There we go. So I have the ground trapped and the positive is hooked around one of the leads at the top. Wiggle this off. Come on, bro. And we take our positive screw. Whoa, and not lose it. I'm trying my best to lose it today. Let's sit this on my screwdriver. And I'm going to put this back in here and screw this down. And you shouldn't have to crank this down really hard. On the authentic, you barely have to put any pressure on at all. On the clone, I've noticed I've had to go down a little bit harder. But once you get it down in there, it should hold your wires in nice and tight for you. Let's go ahead and cut off the slack. Cut these up nice and close. Especially with thicker gauge Kanthal. With thinner gauge Kanthal, you may have to figure out a better way for you so that you can, so that you like the way it looks. So at this point, you can go and adjust your coils up, down, however you need, while you still have your building rods in. I usually go back and bring it up a little bit from the base. That way it's easier to get some tweezers around it, so you can get any of the hot spots out. The Marquis, to me, is one of the best flavor addies out right now. So for $9 and something, it's a no-brainer. I would definitely recommend buying this addy. If you want to buy the authentic, that's fine too. And this lines up your coils perfectly with your post in the back. I mean, with your airflow that's in the back right here. So that coil's twisting on me, but that's alright. So now I can take my tweezers, adjust this out, get it nice and straight. And this is before I even heat it up. I mean, I'm obviously going to heat these coils up and make it look better. But for now, should be pretty good. Let's go ahead and throw this on the ohm meter and see what we got. It's also really easy to wick this. There's no hassle wicking this. My ohm meter is going to show a little bit off. It's been giving me some issues lately, but I'm not sure. So right now we're at 0.518-ish. 0.55. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't have it on there tight enough. Okay. So now we're going to let's take my Sigelli 100 watt and throw it on there. And I will heat these coils up and get any of the spots out. So this is showing 0.4 on my Sigelli. So I'm just trying to heat this up to where it gets nice and hot. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to let off because I got metal tweezers. I don't have ceramic ones yet anyway. I think that's something I need to purchase in the future. I'm going to give these this one a little tweak. And what you're looking for is both of these to heat up at the same time from the center, just like that. And then we're in good shape. So now, as far as wicking goes, using Japanese cotton. I mean, you can use whatever wicking material you would like. I just find this easy to use this way. So I'm going to get some scissors and I'm going to cut off. This is Shishido cotton, by the way. Just going to cut off a nice thin slice of Shishido cotton. There's one piece, and then I'm going to cut off another one for the other coil. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that does it this way. It's just, now on the Shishido, I like taking off the very outside layer that kind of looks like a pattern, almost like a blue jean type pattern. Because to me, I think it keeps it from wicking as it should. So now all we have left is fluffy cotton left once you take these outside layers off. Peel that off, peel this side off. Now there we go. As far as now, easy part after this, get a small screwdriver or something, and especially with the bigger coils, if you build the 4mm coil, it's really easy to do. Sorry, I was off cam. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this cotton over the top of the coil and push straight down through. And done pretty much. And this goes all the way down to the deck. See how that goes all the way flush down to the deck? That's all you need. It's going to wick fine. The other side, same way, push it down. Then you got to come back and cut these off. And I found the closer you cut these off to the coils, the better they seem to fire. So I try to cut off as much of this fuzz as I can. So there we go, just like that. And then you take whatever your preferred juice is for the day. I have some Straight Pipes Fog Fuel, so we're going to try that one out today. I'll let this juice kind of soak down in there. It actually has a decent sized juice well on these. Then I will fire this and let it kind of soak up into the wick. Oh man, look how good that's firing. I like it like that. Alright. And this also kind of pre-burns in my wick. That way I don't get any cotton taste whatsoever, which you barely get any from the Japanese cotton. But this way, as the first time I hit it, I get nothing but flavor. That looks good there. Alright. I'm going to switch back over to my main cam, and that's it. I mean, all you do from there, and this is the clone, like I said, you line up your back holes here with your airflow. If you're doing dual coil, open that up so I got airflow coming into both coils. Switch back over to the main cam. Alright, here we go. Now we're going to vape this thing. And this is not made to be a big cloud chasing addy, but it produces quite a big amount of clouds for what it is. It's mainly for flavor. If you want an RDA that's not that hard to build, really, once you get used to it, it's not that hard to build. Amazing flavor, I recommend the Marquis RDA, without a doubt, whether you get the clone or the authentic. This is great. This is now showing 0.6 after I tightened everything up, which is great. Usually I like between 0.4 and 0.7. That's where I like to vape mine, but to each his own. You can obviously build higher ohm coils on this, especially if you have a regulated device. No problem. Alright guys, that is my review and build on the Marquis. I hope you enjoy it, and I will catch you guys later.